I've been trying a new format here, so I have like 35 small, short IDs. Some of them are tiny, and you got to vote. This one came up on the top. Here's a thing that I found really, really useful, and that's a backlog is often just a long list of things. But if it's a long list of things, it's really hard to make out the relationship in between them and see what is most important. Because I once worked at a company where I have 549 items in the backlog in order. And still I don't really know why I should do the first one. So instead of features, I rather speak about impacts. And impacts is the change that we want to accomplish, the change that we want to do. And very often when you see a backlog, that's not at all in the description of the feature that you're doing. It's like update database index 4. Or just make the button bigger. But why? And one tool that I found extremely useful, there's been workshops here, so I'm almost ashamed about speaking about this quickly. Sorry, Sara. But it's a tool that's called impact mapping, pioneered by a Swedish company called In Use, and then taken to the agile scene first by Gojko Adzik when I heard it. And it's a really, really good tool because it starts with the why. Why are we doing? What are we trying to accomplish? Then we talk about the who. Who do we need to influence in order to make this happen? And at the next level, we say, how are we going to influence them? And then on the final level, that's when we come down to the features we're going to build in order to support that change. So now, all of a sudden, I can see that I'm doing the recognition for inviting lots of friends because they want an incentive for inviting friends for players because we want to reach 1 million players. All of a sudden, I have a lot of context in what I'm trying to do and achieve. And it doesn't have to be really formal as well. This is just a mind map that one of my teams did when they were trying to improve performance. So they wanted to reach something called 300 stores. The platform should handle 300 simultaneous store users. And what should we check in? What should we do? See that blank area up here? That's where they started to do. They had some ideas. They started to work with them. And then that was the first place they did. Once they were done, they just erased that and came up with new experiments. So I found that this is a really useful way of visualizing your backlog, and it gives much more information than if you would do it as a long list of items. So that was the first one. The second one, if I remember correctly, I need to go back and forth. Focus on the works, not the workers. Perfect. My favorite topic. No, don't print that. This is what I wanted to do. And then I want to... So I have not refined the technique yet. Okay. This is a very common problem that I see, and I've done many times myself. You know the 3 questions from Scrum, right? Shall we say them together? What did you do today, yesterday? What are you going to do today? Any problems? And then I found myself saying something horrible at the end of the stand-up. Have you ever done this as a Scrum Master? The last thing you said is, does everyone have something to do now? Right? Don't be shy. Yeah. That is really strange, actually, because it goes against the basic tenet of lean. So there's an awesome book by a Swedish guy called Niklas Modig and Per Åhlström called This is Lean. And they distinguish between resource efficiency, when you want to keep your resources busy, for example, a melting plant for aluminium, and then you have flow efficiency when you want work to flow fast, right? So one really good trait of the fire department is that they can always go. They are always there. How do they accomplish that? Well, first of all, they just sit around and wait. They don't, but they have lower priority work. And secondly, we have an enormous overcapacity of firemen, many more than we need to put out all the fires that is happening in Warsaw right now. But then we can also call them at any time and they always can go. So that's when you focus on flowing work, right? This part is the desert. No one has nothing to do. No one has anything to do, and no work gets done. Over here is nirvana, which Toyota calls one-piece continuous flow. And now we can define what lean is, because lean is a business strategy that aims to take us to nirvana by focusing on flow efficiency. That was my 3-minute introduction to lean. But back to the 3 questions. What are we focusing on when we ask the 3 questions? We're focusing on resource efficiency, making sure that people are busy, which we know per definition is bad for flow. And this always annoys me when I encounter it. So I want you to stop focusing on that. Instead, focus on the work on the board. So nowadays, what I rather do, or the baton, if you're a runner, because the goal of a sprint relay is to bring the baton to the goal, right? It's not making sure that all the runners is running. So nowadays what I do, and this is a really simple change that you can do tomorrow, instead of going around asking people, just enumerate the work. Point to each of the work items and said, what's up with this? Anything hindering this from flowing? What about this one? Or if you're in a hurry, you can just focus on the ones that has some kind of blocker or problem. What do we do to resolve this? And this is another trick as well. Now you can go to the ninja level, which is change people that points to the things, to the work. Because now all of a sudden you are not the leader. So now we're taking turns. That reduced the risk of them reporting to you. So now instead we just one person just point to each of the one and said, is anything hindering this item from flowing more this day? So enumerate the work, not the workers, in your daily stand-up. Do I have time for one more? No. Okay, thank you so much.